महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महादेवमुदं शिरसा नमामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि.
In day-to-day life, you need to respond to varied situations. As one who has exposure to this teaching of role and person, and the basic person being related to Ishvara. Ishvara is always available in the form of order. In whichever level you operate, and at that level, Ishvara is available. In order to relate to Ishvara, you need not switch your level. You need that. People think like that. You have to do something in order to relate to Ishvara. So that's what the people think. You have to do something, the special kalam, special desam, kala desha. At any level you are, there is the presence of Ishvara. So this, you have had this exposure. Then we have to make use of this exposure in day-to-day life. And if you don't make use of it, then it looks as though Vedanta is an isolated topic. Life becomes separate. And that is the reason why also the topic has come. Vedanta in day-to-day life. Life is day-to-day. There is no year-to-year life. Life is always day-to-day. Correct? One day is over, another day. It is over, another day. Day-to-day. Life is day-to-day. And you bring your understanding to this. So, understanding, I cannot say how much you have understood. I can say you have had exposure to this teaching. And therefore, having exposed yourself to this teaching, you are equipped. You are likely to be equipped to do what I am going to say. You need to respond to situations. Somebody said something. Somebody didn't say what the person is supposed to say. You have to respond. You respond. Why did you do this? This is your response. I told you not to do it. This is how you respond, you know. Or you don't say anything. Don't say anything and keep it inside. That's another problem. That ends up in tumor, you know. So you keep it inside. That is also a problem. And immediately you blurt it out. So this is more a spring reaction, you know. It's a reaction. Just somebody said, I react, I respond. Automatic. More often than not, the response is mechanical. It's not awareful response, deliberate response. It is mechanical response. Clouds gather, the atmosphere conducive, rains happen. Somebody did something, I respond. It's a reaction. In reaction, you have no say. In action, you have say. In reaction, what happens is mechanical. That means the human being is not totally available. Because an animal is programmed, it feels like kicking, it will kick. It's programmed. Now, if I do the same thing, I am behaving as though I am also programmed. Because mechanical. This mechanicalness, one person talked about this a lot, this mechanicalness. In Zen Buddhism, this is taken to be a big thing it is. So if you move your hand, you have to be all aware. You have to, even if somebody says, I love you, you have to respond to that. I love you too. So you should be, I love you too. And you turn like this. You have to turn, and then you should turn like this. Like an oscillating fan. You are quite aware. When you move your hand, you should be aware of it. If a Zen monk comes here to Rishikesh and looks at the Mahatmas, so they decide how much you are spiritual. And then they decide by looking at your movement of your hands. And then they say that if you just move your hand like this, then you are nobody. You are not spiritual. Huh? So you can't move your hands loosely. You have to be mindful. Mindfully, you should move your hand. Whole life, mindfully. I love you too. Correct? There are Japanese here. It's true. It's something to be recognized as a as a thing to be accomplished. Doesn't come. One has to be mindful in order to be mindful. Mechanicalness and human consciousness cannot be at the same place, but they are. They are at the same place. I am human and I can be mechanical. Purely because lack of minimum knowledge and application. So in application, gaining this minimum knowledge and applying it in day-to-day life implies my response is not a single step response. He said, I said. Then he said more and I said more. This is argument build-up. Daily at home, this is how you build up arguments. And in situations, calling for your response. They all call for your response. All situations call for response. Take a newspaper, then the headlines call for response. Two-step response. One-step response. This is the response. Two-step response. Why? Why did he say what did he say? Ask a question. Ask a question. Why did he say that? Why did he say that? Response. Why did he say that? Ask a question. You need not know the whole answer, but there is an adequate answer. What is that answer? Because of a background. That's an answer. That answer you have it. Everybody has a background. Background means there is an order, psychological order. There is a psychological order, Ishvara. Background means it is total, summation. In therapy, in psychotherapy, the therapist always listens to you. And then how do you get well? You are encouraged to talk. That's why you need to pay. You need to pay. Then only you will talk. So you get only 50 minutes. And you need to talk. And you pay for it. When you pay for it, you talk. Because you want to finish it within 50 minutes. You want to tell a lot of things and therefore you talk. You talk. You talk. You talk. He's a professional. You talk. That's 50 minutes for your talking, you pay. For your talking, you pay and talk. For your talking. And he gets the payment because he is listening. He is listening. And what all he has to do, I told you yesterday. Oh, that's it. Oh, I am very sorry. Oh, that must be very tough. This is what he has to say. And he says the right things at the right time. And he does, and he gets the payment. That's why therapy should be a paid session. And you get well. How? Some kind of a relief you do get. How? Because he cites. When he has to cite, when you have talked, given this background, your feeling is valid. He validates you. Understand this? He validates you. So you validate him because he is professionally qualified. Therefore you validate him and he validates you. So to the extent you validate him, his validation is valid, is effective. And therefore you validate him and he validates you. How does his validation work? How does it? Validation, because he cites a general samadhi order. He cites, given this background, your anger is valid. In your place, if I were there, I would be angry. So that means it is not an isolated case of yourself in a wrong place. It is an order. It is samashti. It is knowledge. It is law. It is rule. Father was alcoholic. The adult child guesses what is normal. At home, father and mother are always quarreling. Child makes a rule, this will never happen to me. Therefore, marriage is a problem. The child makes a decision, this will not happen to me. And therefore, in 20s and 30s, this will not happen to me continues. It is a child's response to that. And the adult doesn't know even that it is child's conclusion. It is child's conclusion is valid. This will never happen to me. That's the child's conclusion. Then because of that conclusion, and the person doesn't get married. That conclusion is valid given the background, but it is not valid for an adult. It is child's conclusion. So that has to be validated, ventilated, and free oneself from that particular conclusion, silly conclusion. But silly only as an adult, not as a child. And therefore it is a valid conclusion. When they quarrel all the time, it's the same. This will not happen to me. Death happens. One of them died, that also makes you conclude something. Uncertainty at home. And therefore you become always a control freak. A control freak means everything should be within your control, manageable, predictable, and therefore you become a perfectionist. And therefore the therapist will bring your attention to not exactly what is happening to you. You tell what has happened to you. He tells what would be the response. And your response is in keeping with the total. The total is order. Total is, according to him, is psychology. According to us, is Ishvara. Understand? We go one step further. One step further.
Mahaganapatin Manasa Smarami Mahadeva Mudam Shirasa Namami Mahaganapatin Manasa Smarami